Welcome back to episode 2 for exclusive series around guests and their booking behaviors. Guys, look, in my first video, I just made you understand about the guest. In this first series, all I want you to think about is who is your ideal guest, firstly, or list out all the ideal guests that could potentially be ready for your current property or your next property. And in this video, it's actually more exciting. And again, I can tell you this today, 99% of people, and I work with hundreds of people around the world, right, cannot still understand their lead time. When does customer book and when do they actually come in, and their length of stay, right? Which means how long is a potential guest going to stay depending on where they're booking from. Is it through Airbnb, booking.com or direct, and how they are being seen. It's such a fascinating topic.
Serviced accommodation, it can be a fantastic strategy to build cash flow really quickly in order to achieve financial freedom.
So you've got a serviced accommodation unit, whether you own it or whether you rented it. When should you set up a channel manager?
It's estimated that short-term rentals are taking away more than 16,000 homes.
For those who are operating multiple units on short-term rental sites, the rules are changing.
Look, for me, working with over 3,000 properties all over the world, we've worked in Dubai, UK is where we worked all the time. We're working with clients in US, Canada with over 55 properties. And for me, I think many operators, when they first start, again, going back to Airbnb business or short-term rental business, they're not investing a lot of time understanding the KPIs, right? Every business in the world has got KPI, and sadly in Airbnb and short-term rental business, a lot of people are just, taking the property on, which is great, by the way. I'm all about going and getting units, getting it live, making money, but at the same time, if you want to be in this business long term, and you also want to be very strategic on how you're going to get bookings, then this is very important, so in today's video, we really want to sit down and understand, or how to understand, your lead time in your business, in your Airbnb business. And secondly, understand the length of stay of the business. Now, these two combined together, you can then create advertising strategies that's going to attract you. If you say to me, Piers, I want to get a longer term booking, you doing a 2 nights or a 3 nights minimum stay is not going to get that, right? And secondly, if you're too worried about your calendars being empty for next week, then the likely chances are you are not understanding your lead time in your property, because as soon as you're used, I get loads of people who are getting used to doing that 2-3 nights, and they're constantly getting pinged on Airbnb saying, oh, you got a booking. But I'm like, well, what's the point of getting a 3 nights booking at the middle of the month where you're now not going to be able to get longer term booking because you've just blocked your own calendar? So look, firstly, I hope it kind of gives you an understanding of what we're going to discuss today, but let's go in more detail about lead time. You can also get some of this feature in actual Airbnb accounts. Now, if you're new, you're not going to have this, but if you're already operating, let's take this as an advantage. So in a nutshell, firstly, how does lead time work? Like I said, lead time is when does customer actually book and when do they check in. Now in Airbnb, if you go under Insight, you'd be able to see your lead time, right? You'll also be able to see, if you're already operating 1 unit, you'll also be able to see your market's lead time. So now, in the first kind of video we did on the episode 1, we talked about guest and the guest type. So I'm going to give you an example. I worked with someone in Liverpool who's got a 1-bed party property, right? He's got, I think he's got about 15 bed. It's a huge 1-bed apartment, by the way, but it's got 15 single beds. His market is he wants to attract those weekend bookings, right? Now, firstly, I'm looking at understanding lead time in that guest behavior. The lead time for that kind of property who are used to holding stags and hen parties, right? They're generally going to be this time, if somebody's going to basically plan the hen or stag, it's going to be at least a year in advance. So the first thing, as soon as the date is out, the likely chances are people are going to look in. Now, furthermore, looking into their account this year, it's been amazing because they've only been operating for I think just over 5 or 6 months, and knowing that they've just done it over summer month, they've had a great opportunity to see that their lead time in the business was over 90 days period, a minimum, right? So over 90 days lead time, which means 3 months in advance, people were going and booking 2 nights in the middle of the month on a weekend for them to come in as a part of, 10, 15 people. Now that clearly shows what I'm trying to make you understand about who your guest is, what is their lead time or potential lead time based on their behaviors and opportunities. Now, on the flip side, we will go back into what we like doing in that, with GrowYourBnb clients, is to attract those longer term booking guests. Now, if you think about the long term booking guest and the types of guests that I'm going to discuss in our next video, it's so important that, let's say from a relocation perspective, if somebody's looking to relocate in Liverpool, actually one of my clients in Liverpool, again, has got that same kind of 2-bed apartment ready for someone to move in, had been kind of serving 2-3 nights guests, mix of 8 or 9 guests, and still making £1,000 net profit. But he was like, Piers, I'm tired of check-ins and check-outs. And I said, okay, well, the first thing we've got to do if you want to attract longer term booking is, we've got to change the calendar to 7 nights minimum. And till the last week of us landing, and I'll show you a screenshot here, landing that big booking for this client in Liverpool, it's amazing to see that we were completely empty. Now, you think about where we went again in the lead time of this relocation client. It was less than 10 days before arrival, right? 10 to 15 days, I think that's what we're looking at. 10 to 15 days before arrival, he's now got a 32 nights booking, I think worth about 3.8k. I'm going to put a screenshot, but you can see there what a difference that makes in understanding the lead time. Because if we're panicking too much and we're opening our calendar for 2-3 nights in the middle of the month, we would have not been found on Airbnb searches as a potential opportunity for people to book long term. So going back, what we said about understanding your lead time for this relocation client, and their length of stay was over 32 nights. So it's a great way to understand this. Again, if you're not invested on an Airbnb or service accommodation business, I would love you to take this opportunity to open an Excel sheet. In GrowYourBnb, we actually go through this, and we've got a list of clients. Over the years, we have seen it again and again. We've understood lead time, we've understood length of stay, and we actually create a doc for our clients to go through this process with us, so that when they come out of, what we're going to talk about in next week's session in the episode is about the types of guests, and that's going to open your eyes to go back and understanding your lead time, your length of stay, and their booking behaviors. So guys, to end this episode, I really want to firstly tell you, look, how do you bridge the gap between a normal operator who just takes booking as it comes versus you to understand a strategic way to go, I want to attract that kind of clients, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing on my advertising strategies to attract them. And secondly, look, you've got to think this industry next year is going to be more busy than ever, right? There's going to be more properties, there's going to be more competition, and you've got to think about these opportunities in different ways. So guys, I hope you enjoyed another GrowYourBnb video. I hope you enjoyed another video about guest booking behaviors, and in next week's video or in next week's session, I'm going to really drill down into the types of guests and how you can put this all together to increase your booking, to make profitable bookings, and really enjoy your success on Airbnb business. So guys, thank you so much for watching another GrowYourBnb video, and please make sure you're hitting that like, subscribe and share. And look, if you want to speak to me directly, my WhatsApp is down below.